Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Nikitinaknits. My name is Evgenia, and in this video I want to talk about new knitting patterns that were released in June of 2025. To be honest, my next video was going to be just a regular knitting podcast, but I was thinking, no, I can't skip this month because I love so many of new designs. Not every month is like that. I only release such series when I do feel like knitting every single item. And as usually I do in my pattern roundups, every single pattern I'm speaking about would end up in my wardrobe if I would have a lot of time to knit. So as usually also I will be speaking about the yarn recommendations, so the mentioned yarn from designer, and if I wouldn't go with the recommended yarn, what would I go instead with? So you don't only discover new patterns from this video, but also some new interesting yarns. The first design is Liv Blouse by MorecaKnit. There's so many things I want to say about this design, so I'll try to keep myself nice and compact. So the first thing I want to say is this blouse could be used as a basement piece. So for example, you can create a winter garment with just regular bottom if you don't want this opening in the bottom. I personally don't really find this my style, so I would not use this opening in the bottom. I would knit it to a regular length, maybe do some waist shaping, maybe just knit it straight, but I wouldn't need this long version. So you can make it a winter garment with winter yarn like mohair, alpaca, or maybe wool and mohair together. You can make it also a summer garment with plant-based fiber. The second thing is that I find it a way more advanced alternative to blouse number 1 from My Favorite Things knitwear. This blouse is extremely famous. A lot of people truly enjoy it and knit this again and again and again. I was also tempted to knit that blouse many times. I was trying to convince myself because I do like the design, this beautiful boat neck, this slightly wide shoulder seams that not exactly in the middle, but kind of on the edge of your shoulder. Very nice kimono style sleeves and just very beautiful, elegant and wearable piece. There were two problems that bothered me in blouse number 1. The first problem is that the boat neck didn't have enough depth. I feel like in blouse number 1 it's a little bit too high for my liking. It kind of feels like choking me a little bit. So I was thinking I don't want to modify the pattern and think how to make it deeper. And the second problem that bothered me in blouse number 1 is that the armhole is not really shaped so well. I don't know if there's some shaping, maybe there is some, but it kind of goes straight. And when you open the arm, it kind of like has a straight line that doesn't have, hitting my mic, that doesn't have enough movement, you know? And also the armhole is too deep for my liking. So I was hoping for someone to release a similar design that would be a bit more correctly shaped in my personal taste. So finally that design was released, and this is a Liv Blouse by MorecaKnit. The armhole shaping is beautiful. I like it. It's not too deep and there is space for moving. The boat neck has the depth and is very nicely properly shaped, and that is brilliant for me. And it looks nearly the same as blouse number 1 if you delete the bottom part, and you can make even the I-cord aging if you want, or crochet aging. I find it a very customizable piece. You can make any garment that you want from these basics. So I'm in love. I'm really happy. I'm already swatching for this project, even though I shouldn't be casting on anything new. I'm just very tempted, and it could be a perfect summer piece. The gauge of the project is 20 stitches per 10 centimeters. It's knitted with a worsted weight yarn, and she has 2 yarn recommendations for this project. The first one is Pasquale Soul, which is 90% Pima cotton and 10% cashmere. It has a very interesting, slightly textured spun. I've never knit with that yarn, and it says that it's machine washable, which is a big plus for summer garments. And the second option consists of 2 strands held together. The first strand is sport weight and then a lace weight. So the first strand is Gepard Garn Horse Silk, which is 70% linen and 30% silk. Very interesting threads, very nice texture of the yarn. I would like to knit with this and see how it behaves overall. I think it does create quite a lightweight garment with this very interesting chain structure. And the second strand is cashmere lace by Gepard as well, which is 100% cashmere. It's somewhat in between of fluffy and smooth cashmere. It's not as fluffy as Cardiff cashmere, but it's good enough to feel that is a luxurious fiber. So I'm very interested to see how this garment feels with this nice combination. And if I were to knit this yarn with the recommended yarn, I would go with the second option, the Gepard silk and Gepard cashmere. I already saw the work of the test knitters, and the garment looks like it could be also worn in autumn and in spring. It's not so light, you know, it feels very squishy and nice and could be worn as a layering piece very easily. And of course, I think it's very useful for summer evenings when it can become quite chilly. But I'm actually swatching for this garment with a different yarn right now, which is Asante Esa from Nakyang Yarn, which is a blend of linen, viscose, and cotton. And I'm trying to reach the gauge with 2 strands and see if I like the garment. I'm still in process, I'm not sure, but I'm leaning towards knitting this garment with Asante Esa. It's a really beautiful yarn. The whole garment is knit on 4.5mm needles, and the construction is quite interesting and also very smart as usually from MorecaKnit. I really like that she cares about every single detail in her garments without being afraid that maybe beginners wouldn't want to knit her projects. So you start at the back knitting 2 different pieces together. First the right shoulder, the back one, doing some shaping with short rows, then the left one. Then these 2 pieces are connected together, casting on stitches for the neck as well, and then you pick up stitches for the right side, knitting forward while doing increases for the neck, doing the same for the left side, connecting stitches here and the neck, and already knitting the whole piece flat. When the back piece is complete as well, you're connecting 2 flat pieces here at the underarms and knitting the entire body in the round. If you want the opening, you do the whole opening instructions, and if you don't, you just finish the way you want. After that, you cast on stitches for the entire armhole and start shaping the whole sleeve cap with short rows. When you're done with that, you keep on going in the round until the end of the sleeve. If you want the bell sleeves, you can make some increases in the bottom to mimic the blouse number 1, because I think in this pattern she doesn't have any increases, the sleeve just goes straight. And from there also you have the whole fantasy to finish the way you want and to create the garment that you want. The next one is Rodolphe Sweater by Colibri by Johanna, or Johanna Gehrisch. This designer is so creative and productive. She's releasing so many nice designs every single month. Well, not many designs every month, but every month she has a new pattern that I want to knit. Like, they're so nice and well made, they're tested, everything is done so beautifully. So I'm wondering, where does she take all of that inspiration and so much of creative energy? So Rodolphe Sweater is a perfect summer sweater. It is very breezy. You get this very beautiful slightly wide sleeves in the bottom that you get a lot of air through. You see some skin but not too much see-through, so you can easily wear bra, either white color or beige color, or any other tank top, and it's going to look beautiful. Another great thing is that it's knit on 4.5mm needles with DK weight yarn and 18 stitches per 10 centimeters gauge. So it's going to go by not like wow fast, but way more faster than, let's say, her peer sweater that I spoke about in my summer knitting roundup video. Check it out if you haven't. I will be leaving the link in the description box. That sweater is knit with way tighter gauge, and I personally have to be very committed to start that project, but this one will go by way faster. Also, I want to pay your attention to the finishings of the sweater, both in the neck, in the bottom, and in the sleeves. It is kind of a double folded finishing with a knit round. That looks way more neat than if we would do a normal ribbing. I don't like the ribbing in summer yarns, to be honest, even if it looks more or less fine with the first blocking. When you start wearing it and it stretches out, you keep on washing it, the ribbing usually kind of falls apart. So I'm very glad there is a garment I like that has this beautiful finishing, and it should look nice in most of the yarns. Even if you choose silk for this garment and you need it quite tight, this double edging, it should look more or less okay still. And in the end of the day, you can always insert the elastic to the top edge of the finishing, and it's going to shrink in even more to look it nice and neat. So the garment is knit with Weir Knitter's cotton, which is 100% cotton DK weight yarn, so 1 strand throughout. I would go with this yarn if I would just have it in my stash, but if I would purchase the yarn, I would maybe go for slightly lighter content, because I checked the finished objects on Ravelry, how much weight it took them to complete the project. It is on average between 500 and 650 grams. So I find it a bit heavy for the garment that I would like to wear in summer. So I would like to go maybe with knitting for olive cotton merino held double. There's 30% wool and 70% cotton. And the more wool content you add to the thread, the more lightly it's supposed to get. And for example, another option could be for this garment, if you also prefer the lighter weight, it could be BC Yarn Bio Balance, which is DK weight yarn. There's two versions, fingering and DK weight yarn, and I actually once almost did a mistake of purchasing fingering weight, thinking that is DK weight. That was not nice. So the whole garment is an oversized sweater with 15 to 20 centimeters of positive ease, and you start at the back panel, knitting it just flat to necessary length, probably to the armholes. Then you start at the right shoulder, increasing for the neck, left shoulder increasing for the neck as well, creating the front panel, knitting it all together down to the armholes, connecting the whole garment in the round and knitting to desired length. At this point, I would block the item to see how much is stretched, because double folded finishing does take a lot of time, and I just can't imagine the frustration when you knit the finishing and it either didn't grow to expected length or it grew too much and you don't like the length. So that's a good tip. And then you pick up stitches for the sleeves. I don't know if there's short rows at the sleeve cap, probably not, but not sure. And then you need the whole sleeve to desired length. Also, I would block here to see what's happening with the fabric before I close the sleeves. So there are many sweaters like that in the internet. Every single summer designers release similar breezy sweaters, but I'm quite picky when it comes to little details and the shaping and the lace pattern overall. And I'm very glad that this design satisfies me 100%, and I would not change a thing if I were to knit this garment or when I were to knit this garment. In this video, we don't only have summer garments, we also have a few warm garments. These are socks, which I'm going to be speaking next, and a beautiful zipper pullover, which I'm so excited about. So the first one is Socks Kvitka by Olya Kilic, which is a Ukrainian designer, and I'm also from Ukraine, and it's very nice mentioning people from my country. There are quite a few very talented designers that keep on creating no matter what. And Kvitka in Ukrainian means flower. We see quite a lot of flowers here, and I think it's going to look gorgeous in most color combinations that can ever exist. So we can pick up some variegated yarns that are left in our stash, like hand-dyed yarns, different colorful yarns. Let's say you pick the white basement as she did, and then you pick whatever leftover if you have in a big quantity. So the weight of the yarn is light fingering. She's using one strand of opal yarn and one strand of shopil yarn. You can use any light fingering weight yarn. So with the weight approximately 420 meters per 100 grams. I saw already very beautiful option with Filcolana Arwetta, and any fingering weight would work if it's a sock yarn. And the socks actually have 5 sizes to fit teenagers and adults, and you knit it cuff down with heel flap and gusset. I think the instructions should be quite clear because I saw a few reviews on Ravelry from English speakers. Actually, last summer I thought that it would be nice to start some complicated but small project for autumn, so I don't have to rush for autumn to finish something when it's already cold enough and I want to wear it. So maybe it's time to slowly start knitting on this colorwork sock, picking up now and then, you know, knitting it super relaxed and not being in a rush to finish it before the cold times actually start. The next one is Campanula Dress by nikitinaknits, and this is the continuation of Campanula series, I imagine, because she also released Campanula Tea, which is incredibly beautiful and a lot of people loved it. I still dream to knit that project, and it's still in my mind. It's very beautiful, nice long sleeve, but this is a Campanula dress, so you have the same style, irregular ribbing and this beautiful ruffle edges. However, this time the neckline is squared and not here at the top, and you have very beautiful sleeves that are not so tight at your shoulder. They kind of point to the side, and that allows a lot of air to go under your underarms, which is very useful in summer. I really wonder if this dress could be knitted with long sleeves, but I don't know, because these sleeves, as I already said, they're a bit open, and without modifications I'm afraid that the long sleeve would be just too wide, but it would still look beautiful. I don't know. I think it could be nice still. So the moment this project was announced to be in testing, I was so excited to see the end product of testers and other knitters, and all of the versions look beautiful. I'm very, very much excited about this project. It is quite a commitment because it's knit on 3.5mm needles, but it's knit with a DK weight yarn that makes it way faster than, let's say, Campanula T that was knit with a fingering weight yarn. So the recommended yarn is BC Garn Bio Balance, the DK weight version, which is 45% wool and 55% cotton. I touched this yarn in the yarn shop. It was not so soft, but it was not so rustic. And depending on the color, the softness was different. The darker you go to more natural shades like dark gray, dark blue, it was way softer than, let's say, white colors or pink or red. So I don't think it's harsh to the body, and especially it doesn't touch your neck here. So it should be fine, but I wouldn't say it's the softest yarn that I've touched. But we don't want the softest yarn. We want the sturdy yarn that is going to keep the shape and that is not going to stretch out like crazy just after a few washes, right? So I don't know, of course, how this yarn behaves in a dress. I never knit with this yarn. I never knit the dress, especially in this yarn, but I suppose it should work fine. You have cotton that kind of holds the wool, and you have wool that makes the cotton lighter. I think it's a perfect combination, and BioBalance has quite a good color palette as well to choose from. The garment is knit on 3.5mm needles with 24 stitches per 10 centimeters in irregular rib pattern. It is recommended to be knitted with 6 to 16 centimeters of negative ease, depending on the size and the desire of how much you want this dress to squeeze you in. What's very nice that there is a waist shaping, and what's even better, that is customizable waist shaping. So depending on your body type and desire of how you want this dress to fit, you can follow different rates of increasing and decreasing. I imagine it's very clear instructed in the pattern, and it's very important for this type of fitted items to have customizable instructions, very well made. The whole construction is top down with saddle shoulder construction. So as you can see, there's these little saddles here at the top. There's no explicit explanation on how every single piece is knit, but saddle shoulder construction is quite famous. I just don't understand exactly how you knit it, because you also have the square neck and some shaping on the back as well. But still, I trust this designer. She has already good reputation with the Campanula tee, and I would like to knit this dress from her. It looks really beautiful. I would actually try to knit this dress a bit shorter. The actual length of the dress is 95 centimeters. Also, I would actually block the dress after I finish the waist shaping to see if the waist moved somewhere down or up. I don't think it would move up, but down for sure, because stretching of the garment depends not only on the yarn choice, but also the way we knit and our tension, right? The tighter we knit, the less chances for growing. Very beautiful dress. I cannot wait to knit it one day, and I think I would not risk choosing any other yarns because it's a dress in ribbing, and yeah, I would just go with this yarn, which is already perfect for me without any surprises. The next one is a zipper pullover that is called Proper Zipup by Jihye Kim. I cannot stop staring at this. Look at this thing. It's gorgeous. The details are beautiful. The way it fits is gorgeous. Just the fact that you can open the zipper from bottom and from the up is amazing. The whole zipper band is worked really nice and neat with quite a lot of effort, but still, she made it. Like, the designer created a pattern of my dreams, and I have no complaints, even one complaint about this design. When she started to test it and I saw it on Instagram, I was like, please release it in English. I messaged her, she said that she's releasing this in English. I was so happy, and finally it's out. And I already checked a few different versions of this zipper on Instagram. There are no finished works on Ravelry yet, and I think even if there would be finished works, maybe those people are Korean and they a lot of times are not on Ravelry. Well, first I want to say about the detailing. So we have a zipper, and a lot of projects that have a zipper, they don't have perfect finishing, because designers, even though they could make a perfect finishing, not many knitters are willing to put that effort. I like to put effort in my knits since it's a huge thing and I want it to look really nice and neat for many years. I am willing to put that effort, and look at this finishing and the band of the zipper. It's really gorgeous and it looks professional, like it was made in the factory. Also, you have the band, the neck band needed to strengthen the neck so it doesn't stretch out with time. Overall, stitch pattern is very interesting and complex and very harmonious. I'm ready to stare at this project for hours, to be honest. Just look at the diamond stitch pattern. It has the main diamond and kind of a shade from this diamond that is placed a little bit in the bottom. You have a lot of twisted stitches, a lot of different waves that go on top of each other without crossing, a lot of twisted stitches. So if you hate twisted stitches, just consider that this project is full of them. I'm completely fine with the twisted stitches, and it's just a matter of yarn, to pick the right yarn so the whole beautiful stitch pattern is going to show up correctly. Also, the color is not so high, it's not so small. It is just at the right length for you to protect against the wind if you want to zip it up. And so it's not going to choke you up in the neck, and it's not too short so you feel still cold in such a warm sweater. A lot of things are quite perfect about this garment. I just can't wait to have one in my wardrobe. But let's speak about the yarn and the construction. By the way, I did mention that this pattern is Korean, available in English and on Ravelry, and I have the entire playlist of Korean and Japanese knitting patterns available in English and on Ravelry. So the playlist is going to be linked in the description box. I created like 5 or 6 videos already. I'm a big fan of them, and if you like similar designs and Korean style of knitting, you can enjoy watching right after this video. So this jacket, let's call it a jacket from now, is knitted with worsted weight yarn with 20 stitches per 10 centimeters in moss stitch. So the yarn is a worsted weight yarn, and the yarn recommendation is a Korean yarn, which I don't have the access to. I was thinking what type of structure and feel I want from this garment, and I realized I want quite a matte structure, quite a sturdy feel, so the whole jacket holds the shape and it doesn't like fall apart, and it doesn't shine. So I don't want any much of merino wool, especially combed merino wool that is very luster and smooth. And then I also didn't want it to be too heavy, and I really took my time to think. So I have a few options. All of them are either Shetland wool 100% or mix of merino wool and Shetland wool. Shetland wool is quite water resistant as well. Of course, if you put it in water, it's going to get wet. But if it rains slightly, you can still wear the jacket and it's not going to get through the garment really quick. So it's very suitable for autumn weather, you know, when we just transition to wear real jackets. And you still want to stay warm, that's a perfect piece. So I think Shetland wool is going to fulfill that duty. It is also very lightweight and it's quite sturdy if you treat it correctly. So I'm going to offer you 2 options. The first option is Lamanna Shetland Held Double. Lamanna has a very unique way of spinning their yarns, and they call themselves the super light yarns. So that's what I'm looking for. And Shetland wool is quite rustic to the skin, but it's fine because I will be always wearing something underneath and it's not going to irritate my skin so much. And the second option is also 2 strands held together, which is Emma by Hermann and Sarah by Hermann. So Emma is 50% merino and 50% Shetland wool, and Sarah is the same but a way thinner version of that. So I believe Emma is like a sport weight yarn and Sarah is a light fingering weight yarn, and the Shetland wool should bloom after wash and block. So I hope that with these yarns we're going to be able to reach the gauge. The garment is knit with 4.5mm needles, starting at the back, creating the trapezoid shape with increasing for the shoulder lines. Most people are quite familiar with this construction. After that, you're knitting the whole panel flat, reaching the armhole at the back. Then you're picking up stitches for the right shoulder, knitting already forward while increasing for the neckline, and then creating the front panel, knitting back and front all the way down to the armhole. Doing the same for the left side. And when you're done here with 2 panels, you're connecting 2 panels and the back together, knitting back and forth to desired length, then picking up stitches at the sleeves. Don't know if there's any short rows at the sleeves, knitting them in the round to desired length, then finally picking up stitches for the neck, doing the neck band, doing the collar, and finally doing the zipper finishing and zipper installation. I think this project will take a lot of time, a lot of effort. So when it's finally autumn, I can just throw it on and enjoy it instead of the lined jacket. I still don't have such item in my wardrobe, and this is the perfect one. I really want to knit this. And the last one for today is Winnie top by Kate France. I never knit anything from this designer, but lately I'm quite in love with whatever she's releasing. Very beautiful, elegant designs, and this is not an exception. Very elegant, deep v-neck top with fall off the shoulders armholes that are also very deep so that you have a lot of air flowing through your body. Very beautiful, elegant lace motif here at the neck, and it's actually knit separately and then attached with the needle to the garment. So you have a very neat, extremely clear transition in between the garment and the lace pattern. I think it will be hard to tell that this garment is knit with hands, actually. So the whole mood of this beautiful top is very relaxed, quite elegant. I see myself going on the evening walk, going on a date, on the walk by the beach. Like, it's perfect vacation piece, of course, because it doesn't take much space in the luggage and it's very versatile and very wearable, both in the daytime and in the nighttime. There's so many finished objects, both from testers and from people who already cast on the project. And that's very nice because you can see different shapes, different yarns, and different sizes, how it fits the body. I noticed that a lot of items look different, like they fit in a different way. I was thinking, why is it so? Is it because people choose different positive ease or what it is? But then when I read the description very carefully, I realized that there is different suggested rates of increases for the v-neck and for the armhole. So while staying at your chosen size, you can decide how deep you want the v-neck and how deep you want the armholes. I'm very happy when designers put some extra work for knitters to fit the garment perfectly the way they want, especially when it comes to expensive yarn. And the recommended yarn is quite expensive. It is Cardiff Cashmere Classic, which is 100% cashmere. It is a DK weight yarn, but I think it's closer to sport weight yarn. And I knit with this item. I have an entire sweater with this yarn, and it just feels amazing. It wears out beautifully. It feels gorgeous, and I wouldn't say it's very warm. I knitted the sweater hoping that it's going to be very warm because it's cashmere, but I don't find it so warm, and I would personally knit this top, even though it's quite a summer top, I would knit it with Cardiff Cashmere Classic. You need 6 balls for smaller size, and then it grows as you go up the size. Quite expensive still for a lot of knitters, so I was thinking on the alternative, and I was thinking of Lamana Como, which is 100% carded merino wool, which does release a certain fluff after the blocking. Not so fluffy as Cardiff Cashmere, but it's also very lightweight, quite fluffy thread that fills up the spaces in between stitches right after the blocking. It is still expensive yarn, but it's way cheaper than Cardiff Cashmere, so that's an option. And I want to say that I wouldn't need this garment with a plant-based fiber. First, that you have the shoulders that kind of point to the sides, and if you choose a plant-based fiber that is too drapey, it can create this, you know, like harmony here in the shoulders. So I'm just concerned a little bit to knit with plant-based fiber, but also the lace edging doesn't hold the shape really well with plant-based fibers and doesn't look as neat as if it would be in Cardiff Cashmere or merino wool. And again, not every merino wool holds the shape really well, so it really depends on the choice. There's no very detailed explanation on how the garment is knit, but it is knit top down. You start at the back, going back and forth, doing the short rows to shape this beautiful shoulder slope. After that, you knit in the back panel, the front panel. That's just my imagination, right? I'm thinking that it's in this way. So 2 panels separately, and when you're done, you're connecting the whole garment in the round and knit the whole body in the round. Here in the side of the body, there is a very beautiful lace detail that kind of mimics the seam, which looks very beautiful as well. So when you're done with the top at the desired length, only then you're knitting the lace separately and attaching it to the garments, both in the armholes and in the v-neck line. I would personally make the v-neck quite deep as intended, and if it's going to be too deep, I would maybe pick similar color lace top that would intentionally pop up from the garment and kind of add elegancy to the whole look. I actually forgot to mention the gauge and the needle size. Needle size is 3.5 recommended, and you should achieve the gauge of 21.5 stitches per 10 centimeters. So with this beautiful top, I'm getting to the end of my video. I was so excited to speak through every single design, and I'm already inspired to kind of finish my whips and maybe cast on something from this list. I hope you forgive me for this horrible lighting because it's summer and the light is getting into my room way earlier than it was before. So I will have to manage my camera overheating, my phone overheating, my lighting, and hopefully next videos are going to look way more nice and professional. If you like this type of videos and you watch me regularly, check if you're subscribed to my channel, because I see that 50% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. And I know it's true about myself as well. A lot of times I'm watching some creators for years and I realize that I'm not actually subscribed to them. So if you like my content and you want to see similar videos or knitting podcasts in the future where I just show my knitting, you can press the subscribe button and press notification bell, so whenever I'm releasing the new video, you're going to get notified. Please let me know what you're knitting on right now in the comment section. It's always very exciting to go through and read through. Thank you very much again for watching, and I'm hoping to see you soon in my next video.